Okay, so you can see in this course I went back to the words across the top as tabs. Here I've got an example of embedded tabs, so they call it child tabs. And you can have as many as you want. I mean, you could have all the way to unit 1.30 if you wanted, and then go into unit 2. So what we're going to do is kind of go over the first thing you'll probably do when you get to a home page. So what we're going to do is add an activity or resource, and I'm going to show you down here. There's activities at the top and resources at the bottom. We're going to add a label. Now, a label is just a word for anything that's visible on this homepage. Okay, so you can make pictures labels, you can make headings labels, you can make videos labels. Anything you want visible on this page, you're going to call a label. And when I say visible, like more than a different type of resource. So if I want to link out to a page, I can use a URL. But if I want to actually embed the page, then I'm going to use a label to actually do the embedding. What I'm going to do here first is I'm going to show you how to set up like a welcome page. So you can use Google Images, you can use Pexels, Pixabay. I showed you those two. If you want, you can even use, so there's some other ones. In Pixabay, you can actually do like promotional videos. So here, if we grab a quick video, you can do something that's, pretty quick, like this, for instance. Usually these are more used like for the background, like if you had text going over top, you need a video editor to do it. So I'm not going to do that, but like this one, you could just have this and then you could have text scrolling over the top. That's kind of more of a video production quality. So here, let's look at pictures, and let's look for something that says welcome. Okay. Got to be kind of careful these up here. Not all of these are free, so you want to make sure you have it set up right. So let's say we want to use this one. So we can grab a quick download of it. All right. And then back here, we're in our label. We're going to add a picture. And you can either add a URL, which doesn't always work, especially from here, it probably isn't going to work. So what you can do is just browse for it. And all you're going to do is try to find it. So you just need to make sure you're putting them in places you can find them on your computer. So in my download folder, there we go. We'll upload it. If we need this is for compliance. Throw that in the middle, and we'll go ahead and save that. And here I probably want to save this or center that as well. All right, so there's my welcome. Now over here it allows me to reorganize, so I can put my welcome up at top. Now let's say I didn't really want to use this one. Okay, so we'll go in and grab a different one. And instead of using that one, we'll delete that, and we'll just grab a Google image of welcome. Now, because you're using this for educational purposes, you're not profiting off of any of it. Well, this one's even royalty-free, so it's really probably not that big of a deal. You don't want to be like intentionally taking stuff that people have spent time on that they're planning on monetizing. But one way you can actually do it, I'll show you kind of a way around it. I don't want to say around it, a way to use it, but also give them credit. So here, I'm going to go ahead and save this image, and we'll just save it as welcome. Now, I'm going to come over here and browse for it again. Now notice, you can connect to, if you're using a Chromebook or something, you can connect to your Google Drive, you can connect to a URL downloader where you can just, this should work here. Let's double check it though. So we got that link. There we go. Just make a copy of it. Oh, because of how it's brought in. Anyway, we already saved it, so we can just grab it from our computer. But if you're using a Chromebook, it's going to be in your Google Drive. And for that, all you're going to do is log into your Google Drive. and you'll be able to search your Google Drive files. That shouldn't be a problem. Mine automatically saved to desktop. And you can tell what size you want it. Maybe we don't want a description on this one. But if it's too big or too small, once you get it on here, you can always change it. Seems reasonable to me. One way I was going to show you to give this credit, what you can do is you can highlight this and link it. And from right here, I clicked this button earlier, but this is your share button. And if you click there, it's going to copy it. Then over here, you can open a new window. And now when somebody clicks on that, it's going to take them to the source of that image, which we got from Google, but it says exactly where it's from. So that's a way to use images and still give them credit without like taking up your whole page to give credit, your citations, or have a whole page at the end. So that's a way you can do that. You can also, you can do other stuff with labels, but remember, anything you want to show up on this page is going to be called a label. So maybe we want to do something like and we can center that, and maybe we want to make it a little bit bigger. We can do this, and then we'll move that up. And I actually probably want to change a couple other things here. Make that bold. Now notice how I was a little bit limited in what I was able to do there in terms of the size I was able to make it. So these, whenever you get to one of these edit screens, these are customizable, but they're pre-populated. So like in this one, this is how they handle sizing. Here's a quick trick for you. If you go up to your upper right and you click Preferences, and here I'm going to look at my editor preferences. I can change my editor to be a different one. There's only two here. There's three, but you don't need to use that one. Auto and TinyMCE. And if you click TinyMCE and then you go back to your course, now when you go to edit that label, you have a different type of editor. And here you have access to different size fonts, so you can make it a little bit bigger. Whereas here we probably want to bold that. Did that backwards. Okay. So there, we just have a little bit different access to it. Now, if you really want to dig into the weeds of it, right here you have your HTML, and there it's calling it XXL. I don't know if you can just add another X. Or you could like give it the font number. So that was on the bottom one. So we could say like 50 point. And now you can see how it's much bigger. But you have access to do all that stuff. And I'm not saying you should do it on the first try, but that's a quick way to do it. So if we say we want this to be 40 point, we want this to be like 30. There we go. You don't have to leave your announcements. The reason we have announcements by default, this allows you to send a message to the entire class. It's a forum, but it's forced. So any student that's enrolled in your class, if you click announcements and you post to it, so if you add a new topic, everybody that's enrolled in your class is going to get an email. Now we'll go in, next video I'll go into a specific thing that I kind of like to do in my courses that helps students stay up to date with what we're doing and very clear on the expectations.